So hey there folks, Robot here. Fuck, that sounds cringy as hell. Sup folks, Robot here, and today we're doing another video, this time related to JJK, specifically the culling games to be on brand. This was supposed to come out like a couple weeks ago, but shit happens. Anyways, today's video is a new one for the channel. The goal is to design the character to beat Yuta from the start of the culling games, and as a bonus I've got my friend Diskrete on.
What's up, what's up, what's up?
We're both going to be designing characters for the hypothetical. Okay, I mentioned that we're going to be designing a character, but it's not going to be from scratch. It's more like a mashup character creator. We're going to take 5 aspects from existing characters to make our build. Those aspects are the body, which is basically the physicals and cursed energy amount and outputs, a cursed technique, a cursed tool, a Shikigami, and the standard Jujutsu techniques, a la your RCTs, Hollow Waker Basket, Simple Domains, etc. Basically something anyone in the verse can learn. And now sure, it seems obvious to just be like Body of Gojo, Sukuna's Cursed Technique, Inverted Spear of Heaven, Maharaga, and RCT. Obviously that wash Yuta. So the catch for each category is that we're limited to characters roughly grade 1 and below. Honestly, across the series it's easier to list off the characters that are above that level than below, because I honestly don't remember the names of the bombs and stuff that make the barriers.
I'm like, what do you say fuck me for?
Basically on screen I have a list of everyone who's above that threshold, so anyone on screen is off the table for this video. The real challenge of the video is to make a build that's greater than the sum of its individual parts, because nobody not on screen can beat Yuta in a 1v1. Everyone else is fair game, and that includes characters from as far back as JJK 0 all the way up to Modulo. Essentially, we go in like a draft, where once I use a specific pick, like say for example Nanami's Ratio Curse Technique, is off the table for not only me, but for Diskrete as well. Still pick his Cleaver as a curse tool, and also to prevent us basically creating an existing character, we're limited to only using one character for each aspect.
Hold on, we didn't mention that before.
I mean, I didn't want a situation where you or I were picking like the body of Todo, Boogie Woogie, and Simple Domain.
Okay, yeah, that's fair
Wanted
enough.
some more originality in kind of the build. So let's start off with the body. Do you want to go first or I go first?
You can go first.
Okay, for the body I specifically want a character who shows up later in the series to avoid getting power cliffed, because most of the grade 1s and below are introduced earlier in the series. So I'm gonna go with Kusukabe. He actually does shit in the final arc against Sukuna, so that puts him at least in good standing.
Honestly speaking, that was some bullshit right there.
I know that was kind of BS because like in Shinjuku the guy was shitting his pants when 15 Fingers Sukuna showed up, but then suddenly he's willing to throw hands with fully reincarnated Sukuna. I know he's weakened, but like still. But it is what it is. Who are you gonna go with for the body?
Okay, first of all, we have to change this body name.
Actually no, I see what you mean. If I keep using the body I feel weird if someone walks in when I'm speaking.
Right, it's like you're a human trafficker, like some Joe from You.
You know, how about Constitution instead?
Okay, yeah, that works. Okay, so for my constitution, I'm gonna go with Todo. I mean, I think it's pretty obvious. He's really strong. He's really fast. He's one of the better fighters in the show, and he's proven himself more times that he can handle a fight with not just his hands, but with his general ability.
Plus he's also durable enough to get Black Flash from Sukuna.
Yeah, that's true.
Okay, I think this section is pretty solid for both of us. We have pretty good picks. Okay, so let's move on to Curse Techniques. You go first since I went first last time.
Okay, for Curse Techniques, I'm gonna throw a serious Hail Mary into the situation. I'm gonna go with Angel's Techniques, the extinguishments from the culling games. Obviously, we all know Yuta is known for being able to like copy and have multiple curse techniques with Rika holding them. So I think I need something to nullify at least some of the effects of those abilities. That would probably be really useful in my opinion. So in this case, Angel's Technique is one of the best for nullifying Jujutsu techniques. So in a situation where he's like using multiple curse techniques and like blasting them all at me at the same time, or pulling out his domain expansion, I could just nullify all of that and make it more of a physical battle.
Okay, yeah, that's fair. Like, it's actually a pretty good option. Are the wings part of her technique?
I'm not sure, but I think they should be, honestly, considering that Hannah got them when Angel fused with her.
Okay, I think that's fair. Honestly, that's a really fucking good take. I would honestly have gone with it, but like, when you see my choice of curse tool, you probably see why I didn't. So, but in my case, when I was actually choosing a curse technique, I actually needed something that was useful in closing the gap to a stronger opponent, as realistically no grade 1 can really match up with Yuta. So the best curse technique in the series for doing that is Boogie Woogie. It basically helped Yuji and Todo put the beats on Hanami, Mahito, and even Sukuna when during each encounter they were stronger than both of them individually. Plus, as a visualizer, I like the idea of having my character have like the JJK equivalent of like Flying Raijin, so I'm gonna go with that.
Fair, that's a really useful strat.
Yeah.
Especially when it's a fight against multiple opponents, and honestly, Rika automatically makes any Yuta fight a 2v1 already. I guess Boogie Woogie would be helpful to make sure they can't just take you from both sides.
Pause, but like, yeah, that's also true. And it's also useful in getting out of like a domain expansion, like how Todo used it to get most of the anti-Sukuna squad out of Fuga. So regarding the curse tool that we basically off-air, I remember we had a chat about the best option in the entire series, the Inverted Spear of Heaven. And that was the instant first choice we both want. But because of the rules, it has to be a tool that a non-special grade has used. So that one's off the table. So I went with the next best thing, the Black Robe. It's honestly the best way of me nullifying Yuta's multiple curse techniques. Like you did with Jacob's Ladder, there's no point in planning a strategy to nullify each specific technique of his. The nigga's got like 50 of them.
Yeah, just shut all of them off at that point.
Yeah.
But honestly, unlike the Inverted Spear, I think the Black Robe actually gets consumed when you're using it, so what if it runs out?
Honestly, Miguel was able to use it in a prolonged fight with Gojo, where he basically needed it to bare minimum touch Gojo. So I'm pretty sure it can last a battle against Yuta. And in this hypothetical, my character doesn't care if he spends the entire rope for the fight.
Alright, in that case then, my choice is not too far from that. It follows a similar theme of nullifying his abilities and traits and stuff. In this case, I would want to get like Rika out of there as quickly as possible, so I'm gonna choose the Sword of Extermination that Maharaga carries on his arm.
Wait, what do you mean by that? Maraga's only been used by Sukuna and he's special grade, so like, it's not...
I mean, technically Megumi summoned him, so...
But he hasn't tamed him, so like, doesn't work.
He's still part of the 10 Shadows, so it counts.
I mean, yes, technically, but
Plus
like,
also, to be fair, I'm not summoning Maharaga as a Shikigami specifically, because he'd just kill me if I did that.
Oi, kuso yaro. Saki ni iku.
And like, I'm not trying to die and just get a double KO.
I'm not even going to get into like Maraga versus Yuta right now, because that's a whole other kind of fish. But fucking make at least a fair argument. But just know that right now you've opened the floodgates.
I mean, yeah, we'll see about that. But basically, the sword is just like a cursed spirit kryptonite at this point, so it'll be useful to exercise Rika, who is literally just a cursed spirit as well.
Honestly, you better go for the head with that shit, because like, you know, actually I'll just save that for the overall analysis, but bare minimum it is a good pick, like, and honestly if you do manage to get Rika out of there, the sword can still be useful in a fight with Yuta, because you can just use it to stab or decapitate him, so it's a fucking ratty pick, but like, it's a good one.
Yeah, I mean, that's what we're all doing at this point. Okay, so for Shikigami then, it's a bit more nuanced because the Shikigami in the show aren't really as powerful as this battle would hope for them to be. I mean, obviously, except for Maharaga.
Don't fucking start with me with this one. Don't start with me.
Okay, so basically, I was thinking more of utility and how I would want the fight to go. Obviously, most of the stuff I've picked already has gone through nullifying things with the curse tool and the curse technique. But at the end of the day, with Todo's body, even though he's pretty strong and he has a fairly decent cursed energy pool, Yuta would probably still beat him in a one-on-one fight with just straight cursed energy amplification. So what I was thinking was how to get him away from Rika so I can focus on her. And that's kind of where I was going with the tactic I used for what my pick was. So for what I'm going with Max Elephant from Megami's 10 Shadows. The reason I went with this is because Max Elephant has that one move where he spews like an extremely large amount of water, and I could use that as a kind of distraction to affect the environment, to disorient Yuta, to create openings and things like that. And my hope is that I'll be able to use that water to possibly separate him from Rika long enough for me to jump in and strike with the sword. To separate them long enough to maybe even nullify the move he's using too with the Angel's ability as well, something around those lines, just so that I can use one of the other techniques to take out a big portion of his abilities. Plus, if I'm being optimistic, I could even drop it on Rika to damage her or just to pin her down for a short amount of time. I think there was one time Megami used it to crush somebody, and like when he summoned it landed on the person, that type of thing.
Okay, I don't know what to start with this one, but like honestly, Max Elephant is like just severely outmatched his entire battle. Like, I'll save my opinions on the efficacy of this for the analysis section, but like I'll just say that's an interesting strategy, honestly. In my case, I need an offensive type Shikigami to deal damage, considering so far I actually don't have any offensive abilities, specifically in my build. Like, my character isn't fucking knocking out Yuta, like some Ryu stuff.
Kusakabe could honestly be a feather compared to Yuta.
And what's actually worse is that Shikigami available for this section aren't exactly heavy hitters, like Divine Dogs aren't gonna do shit. And like, when I think about more hacks abilities, hacks like Shikigami, best I can think of is like Junpei's Jellyfish Shikigami. And the issue is that Yuta already has RCT and can nullify poisons. Maybe at best you can say he's draining his cursed energy by making him have to continuously use RCT to heal the poison, but like, it's just so much easier for him to just exercise the damn thing.
Honestly, it kind of seems like a bit of a waste of time if you're just trying to make him run out of cursed energy, considering how much he has.
Well, that strategy is there, but like, I mean, actually wait, scrap that. I'll go with actually support type rather than offensive round there.
So basically you're just gonna try to heal yourself with it?
Yeah, like, I just thought of a way to sort out my offensive issues, so instead I can invest into something for RCT in this section to at least ensure my character at least can survive the battle with Yuta, even if like Yuta deals damage to him.
Okay, but if you're trying to be ratty here, you probably have to rethink that, because Megami also hasn't tamed Round Deer yet.
It's bad, but like, I know technically only Sukuna has tamed Round Deer, but like, I intend for my character to summon the Shikigami for the exorcism ritual during the battle.
So he won't be on your side though, you'll just be fighting a 3v1 basically.
More like a 2v1 v1, because like the deer isn't going to be on Yuta and Rika's side. Plus, from what it's shown, it doesn't seem to be super mobile, like it's a fucking deer. And like, my character has like boogie woogie and shit. And also Kusakabe's body, like, it's just a sorcerer in general, can't stay out of the way of like Round Deer. So it should be more than capable of like dodging its attacks and shit. And when you get in close, you can reach up the positive energy outputs for RCT.
Having to tame it seems like you're just adding more work for yourself in this fight, to be honest.
It's either this or the jellyfish, like.
Fair enough.
Okay, yeah, so the last ones now are standard Jujutsu techniques. So who went first on the last one?
I went first on the last one, so you can go first on this one.
Okay, so basically I'm gonna go with the new Shadow style simple domain with all the accessories like the battle, evening, moon, sword drawing, which is a mouthful. Courtesy of
But you
Leon.
don't have a sword though. Okay, I think I might know what you're planning, but if that's the case, then there was no point in getting Kusakabe for your constitution.
Honestly, I know in retrospect I probably should have gone with like Miguel or Todo for that, but like, it is what it is. And to be fair, on just the skill level, she's probably one of the best at using the ability. Plus, I only need her proficiency at the skill for this. I'm not exactly taking her usage of it, you know, stronger body and stuff.
Constitution, not body. Okay. From my standard technique, I think I'm just gonna go pretty straightforward with this one and take Shoko's reverse curse technique. In most of the other categories, I was focused on attacking and trying to finish off the fight very quickly and things like that. But in the case that doesn't happen, I need a way to be able to recover from the damage that he's inevitably going to do to me. So with a reverse curse technique, at least I'd be able to heal from some of that damage, And with Todo's constitution as well, I think he's known to have a very high tier mastery of the flow of cursed energy in his body and things like that. So I think he'd already be pretty efficient with how he manages his cursed energy when actually doing the reverse curse technique as well. So he wouldn't just burn through all of his cursed energy in one straight go.
I mean, first, like, Dodo is pretty solid at the cursed energy manipulation. Like, he has simple domain and, like, kind of spams boogie woogie, like, it's going out of style.
Yeah.
So, fair enough. Okay, so we've wrapped up our 5 choices of the characters, and on screen you can see my aura farming renditions of both of them. So now we can move on to the actual question. Can these characters actually win the fight? We've done all the ratty techniques to get here, so let's actually put rubber to the road. Which character do you want to do first? Mine or yours?
I mean, it's your channel, so let's do yours first. Because
Okay.
also, no shade, but like, I think mine has a higher chance of lasting longer in this fight. Actually, I will say about that, to be fair, I don't know if this is my own personal bias because it's my character that I designed.
I mean, we'll see, but like, fair enough. Okay, so the strategy my character starts off with, right off the bat, is going to use Boogie Woogie to steal Yuta's sword. Like, Yuta imbues his sword with cursed energy when he fights, so it's basically prime real estate for it to be stolen with Boogie Woogie, and in that case, it solves my issue of not having an offensive weapon.
Ah, I see. I kind of saw this coming when you chose the whole sword thing in simple domain and you didn't have a sword yet.
That was the only strats that was going to work with that shit.
Okay, but then what would you put into his hand? Because you have to switch it with something though.
I mean, I'll probably just swap it with like a stone and imbue with cursed energy or something. Like, I think you already did that before. After that, it then proceeds to square up with like Yuta and Rika, and the sword will be combined with like New Shadow style for like offense, and then use like Black Robe for defense, just nullifying curse technique.
So I guess you can just instant negate any of the techniques he has.
Yeah, so like no thin icebreaker, curse speech, essentially just keep it just hands.
Okay, but even though, are you sure that your character can run the ones with him? Because if I actually run the twos, because Rika is still there.
I mean, technically, Rika is part of Yuta's technique, so hitting her Yuta with the rope would dispel her.
Huh?
Editing robot here. What the hell was I thinking? Because I know that Rika's not Yuta's curse technique. I mean, she was still around after he had CT burnout during the 3-way domain clash in Sendai Colony. I guess I just had a goof there. Anyways, retroactively just deduct like 2 points from whatever we rated the build, because any fight with Rika is a 2v1. God damn, how many times do we say that shit? Anyways, back to the video. But I mean, it's still basically an uphill battle, because like, Yuta is like a physical monster, so.
It kind of reminds me of when Yuta and Yuji were fighting at the start of season 3. It was just no curse techniques, just reinforcement and weapons and straight scrapping.
I mean, but my character technically would still have a curse technique. I mean, he can use Boogie Woogie to disorient Yuta during the fight. And, I mean, if he also even doesn't manage to dispel Rika just yet, you could almost see a situation where he kind of swap between himself and the two of them to kind of make them hit each other or something.
I mean, it's a cool strat, but I think that's all you're going to do is just annoy him. You can't really finish the fight.
Now, I never imagined like you could build like a top 5 character in reverse or something using like grade 1 constituents, because like that's basically around where Yuta is in the series. I mean, not counting modulo because like stuff happens there, but like regardless, like they was never going to make a build that was just straight up physically as powerful as he is. So you just need someone who can at least on a good day find a way to beat him.
Okay, so then in this situation, what exactly would be your win con?
Okay, now that I think about it, I actually have a clear attack plan now. So set the scene right off the bat. Instead, my character will run in close for like CQC, and he'll use the Black Robe to dispel Yuta's curse techniques, and Rika if he summons her. Also use like simple domain for the slight buff in like reaction times and shit. Basically the goal is just to like lure Yuta into like a false sense of superiority, because like in that situation Yuta is just gonna be kicking my character's ass like it did like with Yuji at the start of season 3. Then like when my character is going in for like a final stand, you can almost have him try and bait Yuta in like making a pose where he's going to summon something, and then when Yuta comes rushing in for like the killing blow, he basically swap with Yuta minus his sword, and then like a swift motion use Yuta's sword imbued with his own cursed energy to go for the head. And since it's Yuta that charged up the sword, it'll be more powerful than if my character had swung it himself, and with the simple domain will just help with the targeting.
Okay, I mean, it is smart to not spam Boogie Woogie too early in the fight because Yuta will just become wary of it, but at the end of the day, you essentially just defaulted to camping the bush camper.
I mean, that was the only way I was gonna realistically pull out a win. And technically, in character, during the culling games, this is sort of how Yuta fights. He's basically trying to pace himself for most of the entire time he's in the colony, so he's just throwing everything at the wall right off the bat. So there's a chance for my character to take a dub when he's not going all out.
Okay, fair. But when does round deer come in?
Fuck you, this nigga. Fuck off. You know, let that shit go.
Yeah, I don't think he thought that one through.
I was honestly hoping you won't fucking call me out on that shit, because like Megumi does.
Never gonna lie, even if I
someone that
didn't,
shit.
someone would have probably called it out in the comments too.
Honestly, screw the comments. Like, I could fucking edited it around it. No one will have to know. Anyways, to wrap up my section, I say my character actually has a good chance of pulling this off. Like, I say he probably takes it like 5 times out of 10. Like, honestly, if you just swap him for Kuroishi, I honestly think it's a coin flip between whether he can take the W. What about you? What do you think?
Honestly speaking, I think I would give it a 50-50 too. I mean, the black rope really helps in the situation here of like actually negating his curse techniques and things like that, so I think you could actually take him in a fight, realistically speaking. I think the times you lose, the other 5 times you lose, will probably be like he sweeps you and just blitzes you, but I think you stand a decent chance, like an average chance. So
Yeah.
for mine, off the bat, as opposed to you, I'm gonna go straight for Rika first, because in my opinion, while Yuta does have his own high pool of cursed energy and things like that, I think Rika being there in the first place is just too much of a massive buff that I can't ignore her. So she has to go before I even really focus on Yuta himself. And then considering like the sword I have is the sword of extermination, all I need is that one hit on Rika to get her out of there, and then it's me and my elephant against Yuta, so a good 2v1. Then from there, I can flood the battlefield with the elephants, submerge Yuta and push him away. And then while he is trying to, come out of that, I have my wings so I can just fly and stay above that. And then while I'm doing that, just planning my attack.
Okay, no, I
can-
have to stop you there. But like, sorry, sorry to interject, but like, Max Elephant isn't doing shit in this fight. I promise I'm not being salty, but like, Yuta's capable of dodging like Ryu's granite blast throughout the entire battle, which were spanning like city blocks and shit. Unless like Max Elephant is pulling off like Isame water bubble or something, Yuta should be more than capable of staying above the water, and he can exercise it pretty casually once he gets in close, or if he just
Okay,
do
yeah,
some range,
but
like
that's where
Shikigami
the
or
Jacob's
something.
ladder technique comes in, because while he's coming out of the water, as soon as he tries to activate a technique, in fact, probably even as soon as the battle starts, honestly, I just fire off the Jacob's ladder, instantly wipe off any of the techniques he's trying to use. If Rika is there and she is in the way, it will wipe Rika out as well, because it takes her out too. And then without Rika, he doesn't have all his curse techniques, he doesn't have his curse tools and things like that. So at the bare minimum, I don't have anything to worry about when I'm flying around.
Okay, but then how do you actually win?
Okay, so from there, honestly speaking, I just have to keep on dive bombing him with a sword. Because I mean, I know Max Elephant can't do much, but for the 1 or 0.1 seconds it would annoy him, it's a good enough distraction. And then if all goes to plan, she can keep on wearing him down with the sword, and like if he gets any hits off, I can heal that with my reverse curse technique. At this point, he's pretty much neutralized, so I can say that if he can pull that off pretty well, then it's probably a lot easier for me to win than at least your situation. So for mine, I'd say maybe a 5.5. It's still a pretty difficult fight, to be honest, and it's not every single time that's gonna work, but I think when it does, it works well. What do you think about that?
Your plan is, I'll give you this. Your opening gambit is easier to pull off than mine. Like you're not trying to lure him in deceptively or something. You just actually have a straight up attack strategy right off the bat. But the issue is that you don't actually have a solid way to end the fight, and that's why I think you run into a lot of issues. You're basically trying to play like a war of attrition with the guy who, if I'm not mistaken, has only like Sukuna has more cursed energy than him. You're likely going to run out way before him. And while the sword of extermination was really effective against Rika, it's not significantly more effective against Yuta.
At the end of the day, it's still a sword with cursed energy, it's not like it's gonna bounce off your skin.
I mean, it's kind of like the way where Superman's weakness is magic. Like, he doesn't have a weakness to magic like he does with kryptonite, but he just isn't resistant to it like he is other things. Yuta isn't weak to the sword like Rika is, but it would hurt him like it would hurt anyone else. I mean, I probably explained that poorly, but you catch my drift.
Yeah, I get what you mean.
Also, I think you're underestimating how much reinforcements can get these guys to basically become superhuman. We've seen Yuta and Yuji run up buildings, jump hundreds of feet casually, and basically do like some Superboy from Young Justice type shit, basically like jumping buildings and shit. I don't think hovering like a couple stories would prevent him from like tagging her.
I mean, she doesn't even really have to stay that low. She could go high enough to be out of reach.
Okay, I mean, fair, but like the other point still stands. Like, honestly, I'll probably say that she can take it like 3 point. Actually, you know what? Let me just give it a round number. 3 times out of 10. I'll probably give you this, that like all your other losses are mid to high diff, unlike mine, where like if you lose this, he's losing pretty badly. Because like your character is more well handled to actually last in this fight. So like it'd be more of a pain for Yuta to get out of there.
Fair enough. I'll take that.
If we're averaging, I give it 5 to mine, you give me a 5 as well, so that comes out to like a 5 for mine, 5 times out of 10 for mine, and you gave yourself a 5.5. I'll just bump it to a 6, because like round numbers, I like doing 0.5s in this shit. I'll just bump it to a 6.
Yeah, okay.
And I give you
I'll take a 6.
I gave you a 3, so that comes out to a 4.5 out of 10. What do you guys in the audience think about that? Was I being too pessimistic? And was Diskrete being too generous to himself? As well, give us your own builds. I'd like to see what you guys can come up with. Given the obvious restrictions we put, don't want to see any fucking like Sukuna shit. But anyways, thanks Diskrete for joining on this call. It's been a pretty fun recording this one.
Thanks for having me. It was fun.
Yeah, anyway, that's all folks.